Good morning. Uh, I was in deep thought there. How's everybody doing? I took a week off. Been busy. It was at Historicon. I was going to film some stuff, but my phone kind of died on me and I had to do a factory reset. Lost all my apps, all my pictures. I've got a few pictures from Historicon. I know they're probably somewhere out there in the cloud. Need to find them. But anyway, then turned around and did went to see my parents in Arkansas. So I've been gone for the last 2 weeks. So trying to play catch up, and yeah, it was good, good times. Still probably a little tired. It's like anything. Gotta recover from your vacation. It was good. I said great time. Um, Always good to see your parents. So, but I know it's hot as heck in Arkansas. It's getting hot here in Georgia, but it was very hot back there. I guess we're getting that weather this week. Anyway, Storicon, good stuff. My first time there. Lancaster, cool town. We parked the truck, and I was there with Kurt, Miniature Building Authority, and we just walked around the downtown area. And it was good. Had a little market there, actually a pretty good market, size market, and ate there as much as we could. Had another second little, not I wouldn't consider a market. I would consider it more of a place to eat with multiple vendors. Ate there a couple times, and then we ate around close to the hotel. And good town, enjoyed it. The Sorcon, don't know how many vendors were there. There was one, two, three, four, five, 6 rows of about 10 vendors, 60, 75 vendors, something like that. Big deal with Storecon. There's a lot of huge games, big games. We're talking about multiple people. A couple of them, it was like a continuous game throughout the con. Had no one of them had over 120 participants the whole weekend. Set up on Wednesday. Game started Wednesday night, and we broke down on Sunday started about noon. So quite the lengthy convention. Multiple games. I don't know what had the program. I couldn't even begin to mention how many games were going on. Some huge games, like I said, huge games. We're talking about 10, 8 by whatever they are, 2.5 folding table size. Some huge games. I ran Fjord Serpents along with Edgar. Very successful. We had 24 people participate. Everybody, all of them had a great time. Had several watchers watch us and enjoyed the game, and pretty much sold everything I took. So already got an order in, got a web order already for one of everything. So I got to get. Hopefully that stuff will be in first of next week. Get that out, turn it, take it to NashCon. But yeah, very successful. I played in, well, played, I kind of watched, put it Edgar's advisor, if you will, for American Civil War game using Buck's Age of Empires as kind of the core set, which is based on Wars of Oz rules. It was good. I really liked it. We'll have to get a game in. Here, I like the way the mechanics work for Civil War. There, I need to get some pictures I know I posted a bunch on Facebook, but there were probably a handful, say 5, incredibly looking tables. Honestly, I think my best was the Blood and Plunder table. They had they had the ship battle going on where they had a fort in the middle and then a town on the other end. And like I said, I couldn't even begin to. It was 8 foot wide because they were using 8 foot tables, and they had at least 10, 12 of them side by side. Um, so 20 feet table. It was cool. It looked good and all flowed together. There was a 15 millimeter Alamo table, which was well done. It wasn't huge like the other tables, but pretty sure it was 1-to-1 scale, and it just looked good. There was also, I can't remember the battle, but it was um, Russians and Americans. It was was it? Okay, I just went blank. Anyway, it was a little island part of the Alaskan Aleutian chain. It was really cool. And once the detail they had in it was incredible. A couple big games they had an ancient game with once again the number of miniatures. It was 28 mil, but the number of miniatures was incredible. And once again, I don't know how many tables they took up. 20 tables, something stupid. Buck had a really cool sci-fi game he ran that looked cool, and yeah, it was good. Got to talk to some old friends, meet some new friends, as always at conventions, and had a good time. No Bad Goblin. Talked to them. They did very well with Apocalypse, and yeah, they had a good time. Once again, Historicon. I get into, I guess, kind of the meat of it, and it kind of goes with historical gaming. None of the big companies were there, and I get it. For them, a big company like Warlord, Battlefront with that'd be Bold Action and Flames of War. You know, it needs to be a big convention because that takes a lot of time and money from them. There was about 2,700 people at Historicon, so bigger than most conventions I go to, but not once again the huge conventions like Adepticon and Gen Con. But what like Warlord, they partner with Your Hobby Place, which is hobby stores out of the DC area, and they were setting up running demos and stuff, but they didn't bring their own product. They use Your Hobby Town to sell their stuff, which is you're seeing more and more of that. And actually, I think it's good for everybody. The big publishers like Warlord, they have a presence there, but they don't have to put out the money for everything. And the whoever's supporting them via their booth to get the sales. So that's good. But once again, it just there was a lot of vendors, but not seeing the big guys like you would at Adepticon. It's interesting, and I think that's kind of the way of historicals are going. Obviously, historicals are still playing. Once again, I don't know how many games are in, and I'd say 95% of them were historical type games. So obviously, there's still been played, a lot of interest. There was a lot of homegrown rules and stuff like that. or modified rules. Once again, when you start doing a big convention game, say 10, 12 people, a lot of the rules you have to modify. No problem. Okay, guys. Once again, I was fine. I started doing these videos, and I get the yawns. It's got to do that. I talk too much and not take enough rest. So, but anyway, yeah, I just thought it was interesting. Couple new games were there. A couple that I follow by Fire and Sword, Eastern European 15 millimeter game. I really like the game, like the miniatures. Mentioned Bad Goblin, Terrapark Apocalypse was there. Oh, what were the guys just down on the end from us? I'll think of it. I have to look it up. They had a little skirmish game, 4x4. Definitely reminded me high level of a lot of the other games I'm playing on small 2x2 tables, but it was definitely fantasy, not super dark fantasy, but it was definitely a little dark, a little twisted fantasy. And talked to those guys several times. I'll figure out what game it was. Probably put some links to these games companies there. Tony, good friend I met at Adepticon 2 years ago now. He was doing Blackout and in-country games. I know there was interest there. See what other, trying to think, there's any other games there in the vendor hall. Brigade Games was there. They were one of the probably bigger vendors with their storefront. Badger Games was there with 1,000 miniatures. The one game I was kind of holding off on that caught my eye was Marcher. This was only their second convention. Now they've been working on this game for 4 years, at least 5 years. Just finished up at Kickstarter, which is their Kickstarter was to raise funds to get their stuff done in plastic by War Games Atlantic. That kind of caught my attention from the store side. The miniatures, they're sculpting, all their miniatures. Very good stuff. This is some stuff that Alvin printed out, and I'll talk more about resin printing here. This is their beast. All the vehicles, the game's 30 millimeter. All the vehicles are a little big, but I like that. Let's see what goes down. They've got a little Jeep that actually fits in the back of this. Cool stuff. Right now it's only STLs, and basically I bought the commercial license, so I will be doing some printing here really soon. Mess around with the website, see how I'm going to post stuff. Still need to do some thinking on that, because the issue, and it's a good problem to have, but when you start running a website and do online sales, it's a challenge that like their infantry and even their tanks, they have multiple options of stuff on them, weapons, whatever. But like their units usually 10 guys, 9 in a leader. And then I was looking at one file, they have 11 bodies, different bodies, 6 different heads, multiple different 6 different weapons. Yeah. And then just different arms, pistol, saber, blah, blah, blah. Started doing the math real fast, and the combinations you can get for your infantry, just line miniatures, is crazy. What's 3 times 36? Not well over 100 different combinations of weapons, heads, bodies, backpack. So because it all is right now print, um, is how do you list that on your website, which is a whole different topic, a whole different video. But it's cool when you start looking at the files, looking at what you're going to print. Um, so yeah, good stuff. The rules, they're probably they're really close to finalizing. They're in beta plus. They're tweaking some stuff. They're going to be doing another Kickstarter this fall. By then, they hopefully finalize the rules so we can do a hardback book. Right now, rules are free online. Definitely will post a link to their website. But back up. They had an end cap and walked by them several times. That's some cool stuff because they had some big stuff. They got a couple really big stuff. And, you have to look at it. And then I stopped, looked at your table. Those are pretty cool. It had French, I think, is what caught my attention. Then I got to look, and they had some other big tanks. Had them well painted. Then once again, I started digging. I'm like, wow, they've got a lot of different stuff. Once again, I think they've got 136 different files, which once again, in those files, especially for the entry, it goes back to all the different combinations. But anyway, yeah, try to figure out how to get that posted on my website because I definitely will be doing. I'm going to have it. So I might as well post it up online. There's a couple stores that have it that do basically 3D printing type stores. So yeah, I'm interested. I'll talk about that in a different video, the whole 3D printing and all that stuff, and doing online sales. But good stuff. I went over to talk to them multiple times. They had good answers for everything. As an upstart company, I think they have a clue. I mean, they definitely everything, every answer I threw them that they had, every question I threw at them, they had an answer. I think they're still trying to flush stuff out. I said their big focus right now is they're going to do a box of Americans with War Games Atlantic, which is huge. War Games Atlantic for doing plastic right now. Plastic crews is the way to go. And this fact they could get in with War Games Atlantic, I was like, they're doing things right and definitely going the right direction for retail and all that stuff. But just didn't get to really do a full demo. Once again, having to work our booth and they were super busy the whole time. But it did run through some stuff, talked to them a couple times, read through the rules. A couple questions I have for them. I've already given some feedback on a couple things. The guys are great, very receptive. I think they're still at the point they're looking for feedback and good stuff. So I said it's going to be a different video on what I'm doing with that, but and I'll have one down the bottom. What else? There was just a lot of stuff there. Once again, seeing more and more 3D print stuff where Kurt with Miniature Building Authority kind of separates his self is the painted part, selling pre-painted 3D stuff. Yeah, it's more expensive, but you really see, especially conventions, I think people willing to drop a few extra bucks for 3D printed stuff, especially that big centerpiece. You get it on the table and display. I think you're seeing a lot more of that going on. So yeah. Happenings in the store. So I've been gone for basically 2 weeks. Thanks for Chelsea and Mike for holding everything down. Got to get jumping on the orders and do a lot of stuff. Did some of it last night. Got to follow up with more stuff even today. Had the Magic pre-release. Went very well. Thanks again to Chelsea. Shout out to her for doing all that, dealing with everything. But yeah, next couple weeks always interesting. School teachers went back today, and a lot of schools are starting next week. So it's always very chaotic as far as people coming and play and sales and stuff. I will say overall, it's probably overall. See, this was our ninth summer. Probably the best summer we've had. A lot of that is increase in Magic sales. A lot of new people in the store, which once again I've mentioned multiple times. Not that anything against the old customers that come in all the time, but really growth of sales and games come a lot from new customers. That's good to see. Moonstone, that's probably right now the biggest growing game. I just did a reorder. Actually sold quite a bit of that, so I've got to do another reorder. Here in a week or so, I've got to catch up with all my Osmodee stuff. And yeah, we got what else? I mentioned Magic. Those sales continue to grow. Fjord Serpents, while not in the store, once again, it caught on the convention, and hopefully we can continue that. So they've got NashCon coming up here in a couple weeks. I'll be running Oz and Fjord Serpents game. Joel's going to be with me. He's doing Halo. We'll have Monument Paints and other stuff I usually load out. Already having to, once again, when I start to order, I've got to order. I just thought of one thing I need to make a note of for NashCon. I think that starts the 14th of next month, which I consider we've got a couple days left here, but we're already in next month. We're already in August. So a little note on some things for today. But yeah, everything going well. I always say re-energized after coming back from a convention and a few days of downtime back home. But yeah, definitely Historicon if you get a chance to go. It is a drive for us Southerners up in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. What was it? 13-hour drive. We drive and stop a little over halfway, get up and hit the road. And once again, a little different vendors because we have to pretty much set up on Wednesday. So, and we come back. So we leave Tuesday, come back on Monday. It's a haul. But if you definitely up close enough to Pennsylvania to make it a 1 day drive, say 6-8 hours, yeah, you definitely need to go. I was telling Jill about everything around in that area downtown. She wants to go next year. I think she would enjoy the just downtown Lancaster. Very, very interesting area. It's fun to do, people watching and all that stuff. But yeah, NashCon coming up, and then a whole bunch. Yeah, it's going to be about every 3 weeks for me with conventions. Got my 2 Texas one, RipaCon, Millennium Con. We go down to Crucible down in Orlando. Yeah, it's going to be a busy time. it's good. Keep me going. Once again, as I mentioned, I got Mercher set Marcher. I don't know why I keep calling it Marcher. Um, out there, got to figure out what I'll do conventions for that. Yeah, we're gonna start doing some resin printing here. I'm gonna figure that out. Alvin's gonna help me out. Getting that up and running and to the point where I can actually do some print on demand stuff. Got several other projects going on. All three of my printers, bamboos are going pretty much nonstop. Probably the next 2 weeks. I got that much projects to do. So yeah, staying busy. But that's all good. Well, usually run these about 20 minutes, and we're at 26. So I think that's enough rambling for now. Appreciate you guys listening, and once again, give me some feedback. Let me know how I'm doing. If there's anything you want to hear me ramble about or give my opinion for what it's worth, which is basically nothing, let me know. But got a busy day, and I think I'm going to get started doing something, and we will definitely you will probably see another video this week on what I've got going else. And with you have a great day.